Welcome to your second stimulus check, second stimulus update for Wednesday, November 18th. Before we get in this video, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and ring the bell. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Fate of the stimulus looks bleak as lawmakers turn attention to the spending deadline. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are less and less confident that any stimulus deal can be reached in the lame duck period, with focus turning instead to government spending negotiations that must be finished by December 11th. I am kind of discouraged, frankly, right now. I was encouraged when I saw Vice President Biden tell Schumer and Pelosi he would like to see a package done. A lot of talk. So far, there doesn't seem to be any interest on the Democrat side and a lot of the Republican side. A Republican from Texas said Tuesday just as important as what the top line is what the content is. Any interest in the Democratic side, Senator John Cornyn, a Republican from Texas, said Tuesday, just as important what is the top line is what the content is. So that is why it is hard to say what the appropriate top line number is. But it does need to be focused, and there is still a lot of people hurting and a lot of questions about logistics of the vaccine, which we are going to need continued support from Congress. Aides on both sides say that serious conversations have ceased over the stimulus, even as the U.S. cases of coronavirus have soared past 11 million. And the question remains about whether there is adequate funding to distribute a vaccine. While the Department of Health and Human Services has said that there will be adequate money to ensure Americans have access to a vaccine once it is approved, aides on both sides of the aisles of Capitol Hill have pointed to the fact the focus of the CARES Act funding for vaccines in the spring was developed. Not distribution money remaining is a fraction of the $5 billion to $6 billion U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Robert Redfield said earlier this fall was needed for distribution. The men and women throughout our country, they are suffering because of COVID, and we're not doing a damn thing to help them, Senator Patrick Leahy, a Vermont Democrat, said, getting visibly angry. What's wrong? We all know what's wrong. The divide between Republicans and Democrats continue to be over how much money each side is willing to spend. Democrats, including President-elect Joe Biden, have urged Senate Republicans to pass House Democrats' HEROES Act, which totals more than $2 trillion. Congress should come together and pass a COVID relief package like the HEROES Act, Biden said Monday during his public remarks. Have to come a long ways back to reality, Democrats do, just to get us a bill, Senator Dick Shelby, an Alabama Republican and chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, said Tuesday. Shelby confirmed that he had talked to Pelosi last week about the stimulus, but maintained that major differences remain. He also said they discussed the upcoming spending deadline. For months, negotiations over the stimulus centered around two people, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, the president, was urging them to get a deal, and one that was even larger than what Senate Republicans have been pushing for months. Yet, in the wake of Trump's defeat, aides on Capitol Hill say the White House has disengaged in those talks with little expectations that Trump will try and cement his legacy with a bill passed. This comes as the end of December could mark the end of unemployment program that was created under the CARES Act. That law was passed in the spring, extending the amount of time that Americans who were out of work could receive state benefits by 13 weeks. Another program expanded unemployment benefits to include gig workers who wouldn't typically be covered. But both of those programs are coming to an end at the end of December. Another program extended unemployment benefits to include gig workers. I already covered that. But both of those programs are set to expire at the end of December, which could affect more than 13 million Americans. Pelosi and Schumer sent a letter to McConnell later Tuesday urging him to negotiate a deal. this week on a funding relief bill, saying, for the sake of the country, we ask that you come to the table and work with us to produce an agreement that meet the American needs in this critical time. This concludes your stimulus check, stimulus package update for November 18th. Again, just a whole lot of hot air being blown here with these talks. Hard to believe any of it, but it is what it is. It's your update. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and ring the bell. Make sure and give this video a thumbs up and share it out if possible. Most of all, please take care and be safe.